All right, today's video is a little bit delicate, shall we say. The topic requires me to tread carefully, and it could be avoided completely. I could just stay quiet, but that does nothing, and the situation isn't going anywhere, so I'd rather make an effort to weigh in responsibly, thereby taking on some risk, albeit small, as opposed to saying nothing and keeping my head down. The topic is Russell Brand, YouTube, Rumble, Big Tech, and, of course, government intervention. In my view, this is a sort of inflection point where a lot of creators are probably going to lose faith in the platform to a degree, so here I am adding my opinions and looking at the picture as I see it. Let's get started. As a creator on the platform for the past 7 or so years, I have a decent level of insight into community sentiment. Not a lot, mind you. I'm fairly antisocial on the platform compared to some, but enough to understand that a lot of people are nervous about policy, censorship, and how YouTube decision-making will impact them individually. This occurs at every single level. For some, it's comments being deleted, shadow banned, or removed automatically. A lot of that has to do with the creator themselves, yes, but there are also features in place such as auto mod, which control who can and cannot be seen in the comment section. These things, in my opinion, are on the low end of the scale in terms of impact or importance. Your comment got deleted? Okay, go post a different one or watch a different channel. There's a gap here between my freedom of speech and the ability to effectively go into someone else's curated content space, shouting whatever you want and have no consequences. Getting your comment deleted or being shadow banned from posting on a particular creator's content or video does not matter. I don't care about it. I don't give a single shit about the people who complain because they are effectively complaining about something that was never a defensible right of theirs to begin with. Under no version of this argument whatsoever is the comment section of a YouTuber's individual channel the public square of discourse. No. The public square of discourse exists at a channel level. That's where we need to focus, rising above the individual moderation decisions of an algorithm that protects people from spamming links, for example, or moderates out a certain set of words into a special pending tab that the YouTuber never has time to even look at in the first place. The tab of comments on my channel, for example, that are removed automatically because of links or spam or offensive content is hundreds and hundreds of messages long on a rolling 60-day cycle. I do not care enough to sift through for hours on end manually approving or deleting every single thing because people yell at me about their comment disappearing, and I can't turn it off because there's malware bots and impersonators that infest the platform if you do. So yeah, some of your comments are a casualty of automated moderation. I guess I'm sorry about that. And some people get really angry, but I don't lose a single wink of sleep. However, if you go up one rung to a platform level, this is where things get really dicey and where the picture starts to change because YouTube moderation policy of entire channels, regardless of how many subscribers they have, 0, 100, a million, etc., is where the argument of a public square does become relevant and people have a point. Suspending channels from making money or removing them from the platform entirely is a much larger issue, and one that is now back in the spotlight, obviously, because of a celebrity named Russell Brand. See, the problem a lot of people have, and they've had this problem for quite a long time, it's just there's nothing anyone can ever do about it, is that YouTube is pretty unclear about where the actual line itself is. For example, in Google's Publisher AdSense policies, we can see this, quote, March 23rd, 2022, due to the war in Ukraine, we will pause monetization of content that exploits, dismisses, or condones the war, end quote. That does not make sense. I'm not saying that there shouldn't even be a policy there. I understand that advertisers have a perfectly understandable right to impose limitations on what and where their budget is applied, obviously. But think about the words for what they really are. Nondescript, all-encompassing, and unilateral. Exploits? Okay, one could argue that factual news reporting, when done by a for-profit company, which is basically every single news company in the United States, is exploiting the existence of tragedy for personal gain. It's not the best argument, mind you, but it's possible, and things only get worse from there. Dismissing something, in this context, probably means denial of its very existence, but hand-waving something away as uninteresting is also dismissive. If I say, I don't care about the war, I just want to play video games and geopolitics or global conflict are a stupid waste of time, that is quite literally dismissive, but really shouldn't be punished. To be completely honest, I don't think it ever would be, but the problem isn't that YouTube is banning everyone all the time for stupid reasons. It's that YouTube policy is constructed in such a way that anyone, anywhere, anytime, and for any reason can be completely struck down without warning. You could follow every single term, condition, and requirement, but as soon as public perception of you as an individual starts to slide, you get removed. And that is the danger we see personified with Russell Brand. Here's where I have to be incredibly precise with my language. I am not giving an opinion on the factuality, legitimacy, or validity of the accusations and accusers. That's how you get a channel terminated or stripped of its ads, or whatever they decide to do in response. I'm only commenting on the public perception of the platform itself that is created through YouTube's response to breaking news stories. Here's the rundown. Russell Brand is now facing numerous accusations of sexual misconduct, shall we say. I won't describe them, some of them are very graphic in nature, but there are multiple women who have come forward about alleged experiences that occurred roughly 10 to 13 years ago, where Russell Brand behaved inappropriately. Okay, first thing, these are accusations that fall outside the statute of limitations, at least in the United States. The UK is obviously a little bit different. Second, Russell Brand has categorically denied these allegations, leaving us with a bit of a quandary. What should now happen? Some would say punish him immediately and completely. Others would say no proof, no charges, no action. But we don't really need to guess anymore at how things will be handled because YouTube actually has taken action. Not just YouTube, by the way, but multiple big tech platforms, as well as the UK government, and what resulted from all of this just showcases how extreme the divide is between those that believe the establishment is corrupt and oppressive, and those that desire punishment for people they believe are guilty. YouTube as a company has completely demonetized Russell Brand's profile. Right or wrong, not for me to say, but significant when we remember that he has not been charged, tried, or convicted. Alongside this, the Culture, Media and Sport Committee of UK Parliament sent not one, but 2 letters, the first directly to TikTok, the second to YouTube competitor Rumble. The letter addressing Rumble reads, quote, "While we recognize that Rumble is not the creator of the content published by Mr. Brand, we are concerned that he may be able to profit from his content on the platform. We would be grateful if you could confirm whether Mr. Brand is able to monetize his content." End quote. That right there is wild, but we also have the second letter. And to clarify, it's wild because they're putting pressure on this company. I mean, they're not really just asking, can you confirm if he's able? They're telling him he shouldn't be able. That's the subtext. But anyway, the second letter, quote, "While we recognize that TikTok is not the creator of the content published by Mr. Brand, and his content may be within the community guidelines set out by the platform, we are concerned that he may be able to profit from his content on the platform. We would be grateful if you could confirm whether Mr. Brand is able to monetize his TikTok posts." End quote. In my opinion, the second one especially, that's terrifying. A government body is pressuring not 1, but 2 additional tech companies beyond YouTube to demonetize Russell Brand, despite no criminal charges or convictions, even so far as to directly openly state that they want him stripped of his ability to make money, regardless of whether or not he ever even violated their terms of service. That is a whole new level. I should mention here, Rumble has flatly denied that request. By the way, all of my content is mirrored over on Rumble. You can find a link to my channel there down below in the description. It's a good thing to have in case whatever. I don't know. Just in case. Rumble has garnered a great deal of public support for this decision, earning them the title of Free Speech Defender. But with that title comes additional scrutiny. Social media users have taken the opportunity to look backwards and highlight an email such as this one from Ali Swenson of the Associated Press regarding the GOP debate stream. Quote, "Is there someone at Rumble who could be available to answer the following questions by phone or email in the next day by end of day Thursday?" And then further down, quotes under some of Trump's campaign videos call for violence, including saying that Biden should be, can't say that word, that can't say that stuff, should be built, and that Democrats should be, can't say that word, ahead of the GOP debate last month, and the GOP's official pre-show on the platform was overridden with, can't say that probably, and other, not risking that one either, comments. The episode has since been hidden from public view, which, what is Rumble's response to these findings and the criticism that it allows and promotes this harmful content, end quote. I know, okay? It's hard to listen when I throw in all those random cover words of sorts, but that's how uncertain I am about YouTube's suppression effects. Simply by discussing these things and mentioning them for the verbal algorithm to pick up on, am I in the firing line? I genuinely do not know, and I suspect yes. Oddly enough, this email is framed as being part of the ramping up attacks on Rumble in the wake of their position on Russell Brand. That's actually not the case at all. It has nothing to do with that. The email was sent before anything to do with Brand happened in the first place, but it also demonstrates that people are entrenching themselves on either side of a proverbial line. The people who want online censorship and demonetization for those that they perceive to be harmful, and people that don't. Now, the question has to be asked, why is this happening? On one side, it's easy to argue that YouTube just wants to put distance between themselves and someone controversial, based on their policies to protect their ad dollars. A position that makes total sense, by the way. It's fairly obvious that they will try to mitigate threats to their income streams wherever possible, even when those actions are way over the line or ridiculous. But on the other, a growing cohort believe that there is a concerted effort to destroy freedom of speech entirely. And how can I realistically blame someone for thinking that when a government organization is pressuring multiple big tech companies to demonetize a creator, even if they didn't violate any terms? That's insane. Once again, I'm not weighing in on whether the accusations against him are a conspiracy. I'm not offering my opinion in the slightest on whether or not he's guilty. No, not doing that. I'm talking about the landscape as I see it from the perspective of a creator witnessing pure allegations result in widespread demonetization, government bodies pressuring companies to go beyond their own terms of service, and the chilling effect that can have when it appears to be selectively applied. I know this is probably going to make some people roll their eyes, like, really hard, but Cardi B, yeah, she admitted herself to drugging and robbing men in hotel rooms a long time ago. Yet her enormous channel and her extremely high-profile content appears to be immune to the policy of demonetization before due process. That seems like a double standard when she herself confirmed it. I'm a conspiracy-minded person, but with an attempt to keep both feet firmly on the ground here, I mean, you tell me whether or not it's successful, but it's an attempt, it really is. I don't see a giant conspiracy. I see reasonable fear. Guilty, not guilty, doesn't matter, because YouTube is willing to just flip a switch based on nothing other than public perception, anonymous accusations, and news articles. Not only that, they are selective in flipping that switch, very, very selective, and there's no end to the number of examples of that. Bottom line, I have seen a tremendous amount of interest now in Rumble as a platform simply due to their flashy dismissal of what seems like a government body thumbing the scales against an individual creator, purely for the sake of destroying his income, even when he hasn't violated the terms or conditions of a platform's policy. That kind of support makes us, creators, widely, generally speaking, feel more secure, and YouTube isn't perceived that way right now. I will say this, YouTube has stood behind me on key issues before, kind of. I'll just call them key issues. Like, they don't usually take a stance, but they've kind of taken a stance for me before. I've seen them make policy decisions that are for the betterment of their entire community. And this isn't me condemning them as some horrible, all-encompassing, awful entity. Not this time. But when looking at the entire scope of these events, I feel like it's becoming less and less viable to cater to both sides. If you defend your creators and don't bow to the mob, or whatever agency, committee, or activist body is screaming at you for allowing certain content to exist on your platform, then your entire platform suffers under the weight of ostracizing media attacks. And if you fail to defend them, you foster an atmosphere that anyone, anywhere, anytime can be cut loose purely because an angry mob demanded it. All in all, it's a sticky situation for YouTube and Rumble, with diverging approaches on which way is right. Time will tell, but they're going in basically opposite directions. That's it. If you want to support, there are links down below. Obviously, yes, I'm on Rumble as well, though it's not my primary platform. Also Patreon, locals, and channel memberships. Another platform called Odyssey. I have a decent thing going over there, and more, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.